It is late on New Year's Eve as you walk through the deserted streets. The people of the city know that an army is on its way, so normal festivities for the Festival of Dreams have been a little muted this year. While normally this would have been a disappointment, it does allow you to travel unmolested. The location where you are to meet your contact with the Resistance tonight is in a poorer district of the city, a little over a mile from the western city wall, filled with slush-covered cobblestone streets and dark, snow-filled alleyways. The evening is dark, claustrophobic, the multi-story buildings of the city looming in the night with no lights in most windows. The city seems to be holding its collective breath, as if the few flakes lazily drifting from the sky were instead a blizzard. You start getting closer towards the target, the location that you're headed to, the Poison Apple Pub. And along the way, you start to notice that you're not actually as alone on the streets as you first thought. Some faces nearby that seem to be traveling in the same direction as you resolve into familiar faces by now, or at least ones that you've seen around the city. The only one that's a little bit more of a surprise, probably the one that's a little further back, a little more in the shadows, and a little bit taller than the rest of them, and a lot a bit furrier. You realize that all 5 of you are headed in the same direction, to the same place. The 2 elves, Jack and Myetharia, they're first. Shortly behind comes the half-orc in slightly misfitting armor. Stepping out from the shadows is a small halfling covered in a cloak. And a little further back, but curious nonetheless, is the Snow White with black spots Tabaxi. The Resistance has put together a slightly larger party than you might have first thought. Not just the 2 of you, not just the 1 of you, Myetharia, you might have thought initially. It seems as though 5 of you are going to meet together to fulfill this request.
We're all still outside the pub, right?
Definitely.
So
in the streets, outside.
I haven't seen you before. Maybe have seen Rayland before. But I'm going to peek over my shoulder and I'm going to say, Myetharia, it appears we have followers.
Well, I do believe that they are here for the same purpose as we are. It would seem so, at least.
Didn't know that there would be more joining. Oh, look! It's Winry! Hi, Winry! And I'll wave.
When he says that, I'll turn and see Winry and see Rayland coming out of the shadows. And then I'll turn and look at Jack and Myetharia again and look up to the sky. And I gasp a little bit and then stand a little taller and start, seeming with more confidence, walk towards the pub.
Would this be a bigger group than we have previously worked on? Like a bigger task force than usual?
Probably slightly, or at least a more disparate one. Most of the other missions would have, if they're around town, typically it's going to be 1 or 2 people. Out in the farmlands, often it was a smaller group of 3 to 5, but they would have been people who were like a collective beforehand. So it is a little bit strange to you that you didn't all know about each other necessarily beforehand. Yes.
Bryn is also approaching.
Yes.
Rayland's going to kind of intercept with Bryn and say to her, seems like the higher-ups have decided to put together a more interesting task force this time, huh?
A little, yeah, totally. I agree. A different than the usual.
It's always good to switch things up.
I agree.
Winry, I'm up here. Did you see me?
Jack!
Oh,
Hi, friend.
Hello. Have we met before?
Yeah. I don't believe we have met before.
Jack, you're going to have to introduce us.
Oh, apologies. Myetharia, this is Winry.
Hello.
Well, hello, it's very good to meet you. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting a Tabaxi before. You are quite tall.
Yeah. I'm actually short for Tabaxi, though.
Well, you had me fooled. All the same, it is a pleasure to meet you.
I'm gonna walk with Bryn, and we're gonna approach the 3 other members of the resistance here. And Rayland's, or I'm gonna say, is this it then? This is the task force?
Well, it seems so, unless somebody is late.
We are all here to meet Torrent, correct?
It's who I'm here to meet.
Totally why I'm here.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Winry.
The Tabaxi? In the
She is my-
resistance?
She is my
I
friend.
look down
I
at
can vouch
myself.
for her.
Yep.
Fair enough.
She is my friend. I am Jack, and I vouch for Winry. And as
And
I am
I
not,
vouch for Jack.
I was going to say, as I'm not currently a member of the Resistance, I
Yes.
will need Myetharia to vouch for me.
Yes, I am vouching for you, Jack, so you'd better be vouching for Winry, as I do not particularly know her.
Well, the 3 of us are familiar. Hello, Miss Half-Orc. Your name was Bryn.
Bryn, yes, nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
That armor is so shiny. I think it brings the color out in your eyes. It's wonderful to meet you, Bryn.
Oh, why, thank you. that was very kind of you. It was my father's.
Strapping warrior your father was.
Yes.
Well, then you will be quite the addition to our group.
Yeah, he was part of the resistance when Emperor Koltong originally occupied the city, and he went and he fought then as well. And he gave the armor to my sister, and then my sister gave it to me, and she'll sort of stop and look at her hands, and I will stop and look at my hands.
I'm going to take a quick survey of the streets that we're on. Take note of anybody else out there, if you don't mind, Justin.
Of course, make a perception check. As you look through, the Poison Apple Pub itself is a 2-story building, which is attached by a rooftop bridge to the neighboring house. The door and the windows are boarded up, and the curtains are drawn, but a notice hangs on its door. What'd you roll, first of all?
Rolled a 12.
Okay. The streets, like I said, are pretty empty for the most part. You can hear just kind of the distant sounds of something happening in the more central areas of the city. If you would have walked from that direction, you know that despite the circumstances, there is still something of a festival that was getting planned for. It wasn't quite as emphatic or as decorated as it normally would have been in a year, or at least that's the inclination from the townsfolk around. But it is still an event that's coming. As you get closer to the door, you can read this large notice that is hanging there, and I will post it in Discord for you as well. Trahan Finner, owner of the Poison Apple Pub, has been taken into temporary custody under the protection of the city guard until such time that he can be questioned by representatives of the Regessian Empire and found innocent of hostile collusion. The Poison Apple Pub is hereby closed until further notice.
Not good.
You posted it.
Did the symbol
Trahan,
that is
owner.
in the bottom right corner also, you know to be the symbol of the guards of Gate Pass.
Do I know Finner well?
I did. He was a very nice man, and he was part of the resistance, and his poor wife, I don't know how she's doing. I brought her some food today. She seems to be doing okay. Of course, sad.
Yeah.
Is he a magic user by chance?
So you
I'm not-
would have
I'm not sure.
heard of them, Myetharia. You can have worked with one, or have worked with him if you'd like to in the past, but mostly the Poison Apple Pub was used as a location more than he was involved directly.
Okay. So I probably wouldn't know.
You'd have heard the name, certainly, but not necessarily known much about him.
All right.
Is there anybody watching us at the moment?
Not that you can see. The streets appear to be pretty desolate.
Give me some cover. I'm gonna try and pick the lock quick and get inside.
I'll walk out a little bit to keep an eye out.
Sure. You, as I said, yeah, you can make your way to the door. You did get told to use the side entrance, if you'd like.
Yeah, then forget it. We'll.
We were told that. Yes, go there.
I'm picking this door regardless. I would like to read the sign as I do. I grit my teeth a little bit and I say, Sir Trahan was always kind to me, gave me a warm meal after I played shows here. It's not right.
I agree. It's not right.
Well, shall we go inside? It's cold out here.
Sure. You make your way towards the side alley, and you can see that there is a door here. It does look like it had been used in the past. But the door, as you walk up to it and approach it, it is locked.
All right, then I'll pick lock.
Now shall we cover you?
Guidance.
Sure. Go
Guidance.
ahead and make a dexterity thieves tool check.
And add a d4. Roll a d4.
That's good. I'm glad you guided it.
It's going to be your favorite word, Steph.
Yep.
15.
Okay.
Wait,
The lock.
wait. So with so it's dexterity plus thieves tools,
If you're proficient, then yes, you add your proficiency bonus.
which is a plus 2,
assuming you are.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, then 15.
Okay. The lock is more difficult than you would have given it credit for on the side of a building. And as you kind of fumble with it, you make a little bit of noise. And after a moment of kind of looking around and cursing yourself, the door cracks open. And inside is a tall, strong woman who opens the door and peers out at you. She's distinctive with tanned skin, short white hair, and looks each of you over in turn.
Can I try and hide the fact that I was trying to lock the door?
Absolutely. Make a sleight of hand check. She looks out, though, at you and kind of towards everyone and gives a kind of rueful smile to some extent. What was the check?
20.
Very nice. You palm them, quickly put them in your pocket. And despite that, she does say, you could have knocked. I mean, we were expecting you.
Our
Yeah, well-
apologies. Our apologies.
She does open the door for you and lets you inside. She is, as I said, distinctive with tanned skin and short white hair. And I put her picture in there for you. And looks each of you over in turn. And after checking to make sure it's safe, lets you inside, gesturing casually to a table where she has a lamp, a map, several mugs, and a small keg of beer set up. Thanks for coming, she says. Have a drink. Just because we're about to go to war doesn't mean we can't celebrate the new year. The darkened pub is mostly empty now. Its many tables and chairs pushed to one wall and covered with sheets. A single table sits in the middle of the room with enough chairs for all of you, and at the back corner of the common room, beside the bar, a staircase leads upwards. The windows and doors facing the street, as said previously, are closed, and you know them to have been boarded up from the outside. On the wall behind the bar hangs a bronze bust of the former Empire of Vergesia, Dracus Coltung, a regal, aged half-orc with a scar cutting diagonally across his face. You, the group, and Torrent are the only people in the room. The name's Torrent, she says as she sips a mug of beer pulled from the small keg on the table. It's a calm night tonight. Would have been great for the festivities.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Lady Torrent. Your hair is shockingly white, and it brings out the tanness of your skin. You are quite fetching, if you don't
I'm
mind
gonna
saying.
give Jack a really weird look at his. I don't know.
I just chuckle.
What you looking at on Jack?
I'm going to shake my head.
Myetharia, it's a pleasure to meet you, Torrent. And I grab a seat and also a mug of beer.
Yes, a very warm greetings to you, my friends. My name is Jack, and I'll do a bit of a bow.
It gives you a small smile and a nod to each of you in turn as you introduce yourselves.
I will curtsy after Jack bowed.
Oh, I'm so in love. I'm Bryn.
I see Winry curtsy, and then I turn back and do a slightly deeper bow than her curtsy was deep.
Jeez.
Oh no.
Rayland.
Hi, I'm Bryn.
Yes, nice to meet you all. We have a moment. We can we can talk first if you'd like.
Of course. Unfortunate news about Sir Trahan. Did you know him?
Not personally. Not myself, but it was... I mean, anything is disappointing news these days in regards to this scourge. She says the word with some modicum of venom.
Yes, scourge. That is not the first time that I have heard that phrase. Perhaps we should sit and talk.
Of course. She'll spend the next couple of moments pulling each of you a mug in order to set at the table. If you'd like to do anything else, otherwise we can sit at the table and get down to business.
I'll take it and take a quiet sip. But I'll mostly be kind of keeping an eye on Torrent.
Sure. Anyone that would like to can make a wisdom perception check at this time.
Sure. Deals. Perception.
Oh,
Ooh, natural 20 plus 5, 25.
same.
Nice.
Same.
Well,
The
Nice.
same.
I also rolled a natural 20. Hang on one moment.
Wow.
Wow.
Glad I got
Yeah.
these out of the way early.
15.
Who says? It was a wisdom what?
Perception.
Wisdom perception, all right.
Yeah, no.
Are you just saying it funny, or should I have rolled it in it?
It's a normal perception check in this
Okay.
case, yes.
23.
I rolled a 9, so I take the ale and I sip it, and I'm trying to look like I'm enjoying it, but like there's a little bit of a wince, and I'm more focused on looking like I'm enjoying it than actually looking around.
It says,
Whatever. Would everybody notice that?
if you were paying attention, like if you rolled probably higher than a 9, then yeah, you could probably have seen that Jack kind of grimaces slightly.
I won't say anything. I'll just notice it. Raise an eyebrow, then I'll move on.
Torrent finishes drawing you each a glass at this point and kind of playfully looks at each of you and says, it's nice that you're not quite as paranoid as the last group I worked with. They'd have spent forever investigating the entire inn first. Well, in the background, anyone that rolled a 15 or higher on the perception check can hear the distant bells throughout the city that chime the new year. She grimaces slightly as it happens, straightens up in her chair and says, another year gone. Well, I guess it's time to get down to business.
Well, first, Happy New Year, friends.
Happy New Year.
Raises her glass, a slight clink amongst all of them together.
Yeah.
To the
Happy
new year.
May it be better than the last.
After taking a sip to finish the toast, she says, I wish it was better, but the city's in trouble. You may have heard, but the Regessian army is marching on us. And from my sources, should be here around maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. Before then, we have a mission. I used to study at a magic academy to the south, called the Lyceum. As she says this word, you notice that she makes direct eye contact with Rayland.
Rayland will nod. I will nod.
They're good people, so when word reached them about Regessia's scourge, you can hear the air quotes in her voice, they sent out messages calling for anyone fleeing Regessia to come to them. They want to stand against the Regessians, and the resistance wants their help. We just need to get a message to them. Normally, we would have sent something by teleporting courier, but as you should know by now, of course, something strange is going on with planar magic. The last couriers who teleported into Gate Pass showed up as burnt to a crisp. Not that I have that sort of magic anyway, but if we're going to talk to Lyceum, we're going to have to do it over land. And that's a problem because the city's walls are sealed. Ever since their emperor died, the Regessians have been trying to show that they're not weak, and they're marching an army in our direction, since the mountain pass we're in is apparently strategically valuable. Either way, a few idiots on the city council want to negotiate with the Regessians, and rumor is they're going to invite a group of inquisitors into the city to look for magic users who are hostile to the Empire. They've sealed the gates of the city so no one can get out without passes, And to make sure that they're looking like they're cooperating, only military personnel can get in or out. We are going to have to get out of the city, and I am open to suggestions as to how. Once we're out, I can get us safely to Lyceum. But before we get ahead of ourselves, she kind of exasperatedly sighs and kind of shakes her head a little bit. We have a mission tonight, too. The short version, we've got to meet a contact, a gnome named Funsbar Bitney, in about an hour at a guarded depository about a half-mile from here. He's carrying a case of vital military intelligence, which he stole from the Regessian Palace. And the heads of the Resistance think that it needs to reach Lyceum. We've got to get that case, get out of the city, and get far away from here before the idiot city council lets the Regessian Inquisitors in. Once that happens, the odds of us escaping are, she finishes off a big pull of her mug in one guzzle, slim. I know I'd love to stay here and fight against the Regessians, but I'm no soldier, and this mission might be more important. Worst case, you get away from the Regessians, we can part ways a few days down the road. Best case, you can come with me to the Lyceum, and we come back with an army of our own to drive off the Regessians. Either way, we've got to act fast. You ready for this?
I'm sitting there wide-eyed, just gripping my mug, and then I take a much longer pull than I have been while this conversation was going on.
I say, point of clarification. Are we all members of the Resistance?
Myetharia will laugh at that a little bit.
I mean, yeah. My dad was before I was born, and then my sister and her husband were, and I've been living with them, so I've been helping indirectly. So I guess I'm part of the Resistance.
This gruff halfling must be a leader of the Resistance, are you not, sir?
Resistance isn't an organization, it's what you do.
Interestingly put.
Good answer. I got chills. Winry, are you part of the Resistance?
Well, I wasn't before, but this seems like an interesting thing to do. Do I need to have prior experience to?
Oh dear.
No, I don't think so. If you're willing to stand for Gates Pass, you don't need any experience.
Or kind of is giving you a little bit of a side eye and a furrowed brow of confusion towards Winry.
Well, all I would say is that you should be prepared to get your hands dirty, that's all.
All right. I fought a lot of battles and yep.
I think from her voice, anyone that wants to, you can make an insight check if you'd like.
Oh, I definitely am.
I want to just because I want to roll. Oh,
No
poopies.
There, Winry, but
8.
20.
11.
14.
I'll let you answer whatever you want to.
I haven't been fighting much. Mostly I use my monk training as in my performance.
Be a little more circumspect.
Getting her hands dirty she hasn't done much of that. I haven't done much of that.
To be circumspect, she has no real scars, her hands look quite soft. I know they're paws here, but
They look very soft.
they don't really show any
They look
signs
very
of
soft indeed.
Fur is all intact.
Yeah, they don't show any signs of scratches or cuts or burning or anything like this that you might have associated with real fighting.
Well, I have seen Winry's battle prowess up close and personal, and I am confident in her abilities. And
I will cross my legs and look at Jack a little strangely, but try to look as confident as I can.
And I am willing to do what is necessary to protect Gate Pass. So count me in.
And I've already been a member of
I
the
slam my mug on the
Resistance.
table a little bit.
And I have already been a member of the Resistance for quite some time, so I am well prepared.
Well then, Lady Torrent, sounds like you have a group.
Sounds like I do. Does my group have any questions? Any thoughts on the matter?
You possibly give us a bit more information about this Funsnar, Bitney?
Of course.
I'd appreciate that.
Funsbar was something of a spy for us over in Ragos. And to be fair, his normal contact would occasionally pass on information to us in the Resistance, though was really associated with the Lyceum. Unfortunately, about a week ago, his contact, Pepin Tallman, was found dead. A Speak with Dead ritual was performed, and it was found that he was scheduled to meet with Funsbar, and as well as the time and the place of the meeting coming up. But unfortunately, the killer is unknown. Due to this, there's concern that someone else might be after the case, or that Funsbar may spook when he sees that Pepin is not there.
So Funsbar isn't part of the Resistance?
Not directly, no. He is a spy acting as a servant in the Imperial Palace. I believe he works under Kreven. That would be in Regesia, not the contact with the Lyceum.
So he's
fun.
from the Lyceum. Funsbar's from the Lyceum.
He is a spy for us, for the Lyceum, yes.
Okay.
His contact
okay,
was Pepin Tallman. Unfortunately, as I have said, Pepin has turned up dead.
If he's a spy in centered in Ragos, then what's he doing here in Gates Pass?
He has information for us. That is what we are here to collect.
Was he caught on this side when the teleportation went down?
He was traveling on his own afterwards. Been quite a journey for him. He's trying to stay away and ahead of the army.
I can only imagine. He was expecting to meet Pepin Tallman here in Gates Pass.
In the depository, yes.
And I'm sorry, Pepin was from the Resistance?
Technically, he is from the Lyceum, though he does pass along information to the Resistance. He is, I guess I should say, just so you're not surprised about it, very ugly and aware of it. So be prepared.
Okay.
Don't want you to start at him.
Well, there is beauty and handsome traits in all of us. You just must have an eye for it.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Jack will tell him how gorgeous he looks.
Might get quite the
feel like-
reaction.
I feel as though you are assuming, but I'm a
He
bit
is very
flustered.
nice at giving compliments, I've noticed.
That is something that I try very hard to do. Thank you for
That's
noticing,
good.
Winry. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Your fur looks very fluffy tonight.
Oh, thanks.
When is the meetup scheduled?
It is scheduled for an hour from now. About an hour from now.
Well, then we should.
We have time. Is there
We
anything
should
else we
sit here
should
and talk some
discuss
more.
first?
Well, probably our plan on how to get out of the city once we have secured the case.
Well,
That
can
will
say
be difficult.
It will. The gates are closed, guarded, except to official personnel. Simply walking out will be impossible. Sneaking out, difficult.
Are there any members of the council that are on our side?
We do have She looks as though she's considering it a little bit. We do have an option there. Councilman Manash, well known to be sympathetic to adventurers. Might be worth a discussion. Never met him myself, but I can tell you where he lives. It's impossible to miss. A ridiculous mansion with colors everywhere. I promise you, if you walk through Summer's Bluff, you cannot miss it.
Perhaps after our meeting with Funsbar, we can meet with Councilman Manash.
Would not be the worst idea. If you're looking for suggestions, I had some other thoughts myself. Political power always useful. Perhaps mages could be of help in the escape. You may have contacts in the Resistance that have some thoughts themselves, but as long as we are getting out peacefully, I have no objections.
Mages.
At the very least, they could distract or come up with some other ideas to get us past security checkpoints.
Illusions.
Possibly. It's at least an idea.
I've only ever used the gate, so I'm not sure. I could ask my sister or her husband if they've come across any other ways. I don't know. Are there, like, the newer districts have sewers and stuff? Maybe I've read in stories that people go out through sewers a lot.
True.
I was
It
just
was
about
something
to-
that I'd considered. Unfortunately, the sewers in Gate Pass go downwards, not outward.
That is unfortunate.
Downwards to where?
A valid question, and perhaps one that you'd spend your life figuring out.
Worst comes to worst.
You can try it.
Would my contacts perhaps know of a way out of the city that is not through a gate per se, or at least a well-known gate?
So with the way that Gate Pass exists in this like slot cavern kind of thing, there's not a lot of ways in and out just in general, and they are pretty well known by this point in time. There are probably some lesser used areas, but anything that's going to get you in or out of the walls, which are quite large in this city, is probably going to have someone who watches over it to some extent.
But less so than the general in and
Probably
out
less so than
entrances.
walking through the major gates or like the main areas. Sure, there might be some ways to slip through a little bit more surreptitiously, but you have to ask them.
Certainly something to keep
So
in mind.
another thought too, because obviously Gates Pass runs east to west, are we going to want to try and go west towards the army that's coming towards us and go down south, or should we head east and try and find a ship or something to reach Lyceum?
Well, my plan for once we're out of the city is much easier. I have a clearer idea on that. The idea is to take a little traveled road south from the city, actually, to the border of the Inetadar Fire Forest, 30 miles away. From there, we'll continue on through the nation of Dassin, and out the other side, hopefully, to where the Lyceum is.
I don't know that we would want to go east anyway, Bryn. We may run into Lord Shaladell's army in response to the Regazian encroachment. I believe that we could ask magic users to help us out of the city. However, there are two schools for such things. One is Gabal's school, and Gabal would not look kindly upon folks fleeing protection of the city, no matter what our intentions. However, I actually studied at Errolor Hall, and many of my friends there, in fact, all of my friends there, are magic users. Perhaps they would have some suggestions as to how we could magically find our way out of the city.
Certainly.
And just as probably flamboyant as you are, able to make a good distraction.
Do I get... I want to know if he means that as an insult or just an observation.
Take it as you will.
Bryn does chuckle a little bit under her breath, as slyly as she can.
I do not know that flamboyance is how I would describe myself, but I do tend to make an impression, I believe.
I think buoyancy. is a positive trait.
I think they mean different things, but I will take that very kindly, Winry. I appreciate it. Your support is always appreciated.
Well,
I feel like our spectrum here is Rayland, Myetharia, Bryn right in the middle, and then Winry and Jack. Oh man,
It's great.
well,
you guys are gonna make it hard for me.
yes. Some of you might be questioning why the little traveled road, I guess, through the fire forest. And, well, the only thing I would say beyond that is all the major roads that would lead to Dassin, and thus to the Lyceum, are either impassable in winter or crawling with Regessian soldiers, I'm sure. So, rather than trying to survive the wilderness in the winter or sneak past countless patrols, I have prepared for us a journey through the fire forest. And she kind of takes out a small pouch, sets it on the counter, and opens it. You can see within is a slew of potions that are kind of bright red, almost like lava in form. And she kind of just shows them and then bundles them back up and says, well, with these, be able to survive the intense heat of the forest. And doubly fun, any pursuit would have a hard time following behind us this way.
Wow.
The fire forest, you say?
Netatar Fire Forest, yes. Some 30 miles away.
All
Decades
right.
ago, Elf Road ran through the fire forest and to the nation of Dassin, where the Lyceum is. But some 30 odd years ago, catastrophe happened. The forest was set on fire and it has not stopped burning since. Any elves that lived there, unfortunately, have found themselves either out of a home or out of a life.
Indeed.
I
they
remember
have.
stories about that when I was a kid. I can't believe that's actually real.
It's very real.
It's very, very real.
I have never seen it, but I have also heard many stories. Forgive me, but if we run out of those potions, I may have a way to protect us from the blaze.
Perfect.
However-
that sounds wonderful.
I believe that we may be getting ahead of ourselves a bit. We have a mission tonight that we must accomplish, and I say that we take things one step at a time.
Bard is right.
It's fair.
Gabe, I'm going to stand up. In fact, I should probably go out ahead, scout it out. Any objections?
I'll touch him on the shoulder before he goes, and you feel just a slight quickness to your step, and you are blessed, and then you have advantage on your next initiative roll.
First, I'll smile. Smile fondly at that. As he'll kind of look at her hand as she touches him, and he'll smile. The question for you, Justin: do we know the area around the depository?
Relatively, sure. I mean,
Okay.
depository meaning effectively bank, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm sure you've been there in the past before, or at least been around the area. But it's like a guarded, gated area, so to speak, where you'd consider keeping, storing valuables.
Meet me around the corner from the depository. I'll see you there in a little bit.
As Rayland moves to get away from the table, everyone make a perception check.
16 for me.
Nice.
24.
10.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
You said
I rolled a 19.
7.
at 50.
15.
7.
Everyone, first of all, can hear the bells of the city's celebration in the distance all go silent within the span of a few seconds. And during this sudden silence, everyone, I think, except for, let's see, not Rayland, not Jack, actually, the rest of you, can hear creaking floorboards from above. You wouldn't have been able to pick them out except for the silence of the bells. As soon as you start to collect yourself and think of what's happening, you start to hear distant, muted thumps fill the air. It sounds almost like the sound of ripe fruit landing on a roof of a house. Just thump in the distance. Torrent starts to look around nervously.
What was that?
If you guys don't mind, how well are you? How well are you guys? How good can you see in the dark?
Just fine.
Yeah.
No.
No.
How about you, Torrent?
Guys, it's not something that I am prepared for personally.
Oh, I
what
can
is-
see in the dark, fine.
Okay, if you don't mind, again, and I'll go toward Torrent and Rayland, and I'll do Winry, and I focus for a second, and then another sort of small wave of magic rushes over you guys, and you guys can all have dark vision for a range of 300 feet.
Whoa.
Lasting for up to an hour.
Yep, for an hour.
It's $3.
That's a good move.
That's $3.
Leave.
That's a good move.
Thanks, Bryn. So we have company. And then he's going to start destroying the candles. Anything that's
Yeah,
near him,
yeah.
he's going to turn out the lights.
Dousing all
Okay.
the lights. I'm with him.
Perfect.
If there's a candle on the other side of the room or a fire or anything, I'm going to pull out from under my cloak that hangs from a leather cord, a little whistle that looks like it's made of bone. I'm going to put it to my mouth and blow. And you guys don't hear a sound, but a blast of cold flies from me, impacting the fire and putting it out, following you guys' lead.
So I'm gonna whip out a sword and maybe chop some flames.
I want to find a place to hide.
Okay. There's some like tables around the outside that were covered in sheets and this sort of thing.
Did
Okay.
you say that there was a sound from above, like creaking floorboards?
There was the sound of creaking floorboards above, and then often, like distant almost, there's these muted thumps.
Like
Okay. I'm
gonna
distance
step
on like
behind
the
Myetharia.
ceiling, or like out like a couple houses down, or
It's hard to tell exactly the direction or anything like this, but not necessarily directly above you. It's definitely around, but not directly above. It sounds almost like think of dropping like a cantaloupe on the ground, like a rotted cantaloupe. It's like a thump.
so. Seeing that everybody's sort of getting ready, I'll pull out my shield and like Winry, just sort of find a place to hide.
Yeah.
I'm keeping a close eye on Jack, and I already have one of my two swords out, and I'm kind of moving towards the staircase.
Okay.
Myetharia, are we going up?
Do we want the news of what we are doing, our plans, to be shared with others?
All right. Form up on you. Let's go.
We could run.
As you cross kind of near the front door on your way towards the stairs on the other side of the room, you can hear a male voice outside the door quite loudly go, "Front door, go!" And the front door shudders all of a sudden as a thud rams into it.
Like
It
that?
shudders. Yeah, sure. It shudders from the impact, and it looks like the hinges nearly break as something rams into it at violent pace.
Winry,
All right.
You hear from outside as it splinters slightly, and the eye line is just starting to be able to peek through. And you can hear someone from the outside shout, "Drop your weapons and come quietly. We don't want to break your valuable little heads."
I don't have any weapons.
Do I recognize the voice?
You don't recognize the voice now.
Rayland, should we follow you?
I'm going to yell back to the voices, and why should we do that? Apart from the head breaking, which is doubtful. If you don't give us a good reason, apart from the supposed head breaking, then I, myself, will not be dropping any weapons that I have.
You hear, "We've got," and then the second voice says, "Shut up." And then you hear the effort as they're drawing something back again.
I think it's time to go.
Indeed.
I agree.
We're all going to run up the stairs here.
As you
I'm
make
with
it to the base of the stairs, at least the two that Jack, are you following them?
I'm behind
Winry-
Myetharia, wherever she is.
I whispered to Winry, should we go? And then as Rayland says it's time to go, then I get up to follow him.
Okay. As you just make it towards the base of the stairs, Rayland in the lead, Myetharia right behind him, with Jack, Bryn, Torrent, and Winry all following behind in like a little bunch of apples, nice little group. You make it to the base of the stairs, and just as you're you're getting to them, you can see and hear the sound of boots from above. And you can make out that there's at least a couple of them, or more than that, actually. You see a couple of them. You know that there's the sound of boots more behind them, as there's definitely people coming to the top of the stairs as you peer around the corner up it. Just as you do so, and you think to call back or whisper back to your friends that they're above us too, or something to this nature, the building shakes, and a deafening boom sounds from overhead. The entire building shakes, and you can feel and hear the sound of crackling fire suddenly from above. Ceiling boards creak, crack, and buckle, with the flaming oil spraying around upstairs that leaks down into the room like a fiery rain. Overhead, a handful of screams sound as there are men, or presumably men, upstairs getting caught within this flaming burst. One dying member of this group stumbles down the stairs on fire as he pushes past two additional members who were there. He comes down and lands on the ground in a fiery mess. The bronze bust of the Emperor Coltung statue falls off the wall, landing with a thud. As suddenly you find yourselves amongst the combat as members are piling in all over. I am going to drag us around, and you guys, while I'm doing so, can go ahead and roll initiative for me.
You
First
have
initiative.
advantage, Ryan. I'm so excited.
23. I'll be right back.
I got a 9.
I got a 6.
What's your dex, babe? Which of us goes first?
Let's go first.
Probably both had bad decks.
I have +0.
Oh, man.
I think that's what.
Dex.
Oh no, I think I have +1. I have +1.
You got +1. You
I'm
were
going
elf.
before you, sucker.
You were elf.
Oof. Ryan. Oh, that's right. You said you rolled a 20 or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that, didn't you?
Rogues, am I right?
Am I right? It just stings a little bit.
And then we've got Torrent too. Torrent. Ooh, quite quick. Okay. Rayland,
Nice.
you are the first to act with the sounds from all over, the deafening boom, and you can feel and start to see fire from above.
Am I under the impression that there are two separate hostiles converging on this point right now? So one of the guys that like stumbled down the stairs. Were there other people upstairs? Like were the people like sleeping upstairs, or?
As far as you knew, the inn was desolate.
So the guy that stumbled past us on fire was supposedly a member of their squad. So they just set one of their own guys on fire.
You draw your own conclusions.
All right, great. So it sounds like there might be.
Two factions.
And the people right in front of me here, they're coming down the stairs. They look hostile.
They, for all intents and purposes, yeah,
All right.
they have little short swords out.
I will then draw my rapier.
Do so.
So move here. He says, "Excuse me, you're in my way," and he's gonna attack him with the rapier.
Do it.
21 to hit.
Definitely
Nice.
hits.
9 damage.
9 damage. Very nice.
And with that, I'm gonna do a bonus action to disengage and move right here.
It's what you've always
Disengage.
wanted to do, Ryan.
He's ready.
And that's it. That's my turn.
Very nice. Torrent kind of looks in all directions. She just kind of looks in all directions, looks up, looks out the front door a little bit. Says, which way are we going? Where are we going?
We're going up.
And she'll move then one step towards the stairs and kind of prepare for someone to come around the corner. From outside, you hear a man's voice once more. Winry, you can kind of see him. He's on the back of a horse in the middle of the street, and he looks down to the guys next to him who were previously carrying a battering ram, who have now dropped it, and says, "Get them! After them! Go!" Winry, it is you who responds next.
I'm gonna shoot a ray of frost at this fellow.
Go for it.
20 to hit. 20 total.
Does hit. You'd see that he's wearing some sort of scale almost with a shield held next to him. But despite this, you're able to find a nice weak spot through, make contact with him.
2 damage.
Fortunate. You can see like this little frost kind of
She's
gather.
super apprehensive at hitting anyone. How much can I move? Hang on.
How much can you move?
40
can
feet,
move
I think.
40 feet.
Oh,
It's far.
That's so nice. I should have been a monk.
She also looks really apprehensive to go up to this fire, but that's apparently what we're gonna do. So she's gonna go right there.
I mean, if anybody has any objections, feel free to air them now. I'm just that's just what I would do. I would go up. But I'm also a thief, so
Yeah.
although you're a monk, you could probably hang with me if we're gonna have a rooftop chase.
Oh, that's true. Jumping over buildings.
Anything else, Winry? You all set?
Nope. That's it.
All right, Bryn.
So you want me to go first?
No, I got it. It's fine. So I will take a deep breath. A strange calm goes over my face, and I clutch the necklace around my neck while I'm holding my spear with my other hand, and a light shimmering, almost like a flower blossoming in reverse. There's a dome that goes over all of us, 30 feet radius, Justin. It's filled with dim light. It is centered on me, and it lasts for 1 minute. If you end your turn in my sphere, you either get temporary hit points, or I can end an effect on you if you're charmed or frightened. And then hearing Rayland say we're going to go up, I'll move to jump over. I can move myself. What am I talking
You sure can.
I'll go jump over the bar and end up behind Rayland. Can you
You
see
might be
that?
able to kind of see it as a
Yeah, I
slight
see
purple aura.
Yeah.
That's your 30-foot radius.
Okay.
You jumping over the bar?
Yeah.
Sure, that seems fine. Without too much issue there, since you're not under too much duress right now. Just kind of Dukes a hazard your way over top of the bar to the other side behind Rayland, prepared and defensive.
It seems you guys notice as I jump over that it kind of looks almost you would not expect her to be able to jump over the bar that easily, but she just sort of hops over without a second thought of it.
Nice. Go ahead and roll yourself. Do you want to roll it once or do you want to roll it each time?
I feel like I want to roll it each time.
Okay.
I think
Until
you
it
do
gets
too.
annoying.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll yourself temporary hit
Oh,
points
yeah.
then.
Yeah, because I did my turn.
And then Jack, it'll be you.
So I am going to step over this direction. And as I do, once I break line of sight with those guys in the front door, I am going to pull the whistle out again and blow another note and kind of point with my open hand. And there's a pillar. So from their perspective, the guys outside, it looks like a pillar of fire has fallen down in front of the door, just casting minor illusion, hoping it'll slow them down a little bit.
Nice. That sounds great.
And since it's 5 feet, it's gonna look funny from our perspective because it's only 5 foot cubed. So just like that 5 feet looks like there's this chunk of a fiery column that came out of nowhere, but from their perspective, it takes up the whole doorway.
How's that?
Perfect. I love it.
That's really
fire.
good. That's good, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you. And then I say, upstairs. Yes.
Very clever.
I'll smile. Thank you. That's my turn.
All right.
You
Coming
get
down the stair.
four temporary hit points.
Sweet.
Coming down the stairs, then you come face to face, Winry, with these orcish individuals. They both are touting short swords in their hands. One of which is kind of attacking around a partial corner at you, and so he'll have disadvantage on the strike. The other one has moved to the base of the stairs, to the landing, and is able to get good purchase towards you. So the first one, the one that has good line of sight to you, will make an attack. He rolls a 15 to hit.
I would like to use my reaction, if that's all right.
Totally.
I see these big meanies attacking my friend, and so I bring the whistle up again, and I'm going to blow it. And you guys actually hear it this time. It's like a very low frequency, aiming straight at that guy, and the sound is going to reverberate in his head. I'm doing cutting words. And we're going to subtract 2. 13?
So just as he's about to make contact, it looks like this weird frequency noise, and his head shakes slightly, and the strike just like his muscle almost spasms slightly as it goes towards her. And instead of striking Winry, it actually just barely misses her and strikes into the wall next to her. The other guy will, as I said, reach around the corner a little bit with disadvantage, as I'd stated, and he is unable to make any real contact by attacking around that partial wall there. His short sword just bites into the side of it as he's trying to get the right angle towards you. At the front door, the first guy steps forward a little bit, and I'm going to have him make an insight check.
Investigation, if he wants to figure it out. DC is 13.
And that's intelligence. Awful. So he doesn't. He looks terrified. You can just barely make it out through the fire that he's like, I'm not walking through that crap. The other two that look at it...
13's the DC.
They do both see through it, but they will spend their efforts to do so. And so both of them will kind of step up to the sides of the doors. You can just barely keep making them out just outside. And they look at the fire and they kind of wave a hand through it. But that's as far as they get to, as it definitely has slowed them down.
As soon as they wave their hand through it, it just disappears. Because once they discover it goes away.
But it definitely did slow all three of them down from getting towards you this turn.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It does not wink out. They can see through it like it's not there. The other guy still failed, so it still affects him.
Okay. The last thing that happens is you start to hear from the side door that you entered in, which over here, you start to hear a little bit of a thud over there as well, as someone seems to be playing with it. And after a moment, the door swings open, and you can see from the other side is another man, similarly dressed as to the other ones.
Do they look like guards?
They do not look like guards. The only thing that you can see that kind of ties them together is a red armband on each of them. Does anyone read, just as a humorous thing, I don't know if anyone will, but does anyone read like Ignin?
No.
No.
By chance?
No.
Or perhaps like any elemental based languages?
No,
I don't know, Mish. I have a feeling this was going to turn into the goblin on the new last campaign.
But yeah, they have a red armband that has a black horse head on it, and there's some letters in a language that none of you recognize. So they do all appear to have that same armband on, however. Myetharia, you are next up.
I say to Jack, good work there. And I'm going to move over here. And I'm going to hold my 2 swipes with... I'm going to take out my other sword, by the way. And I'm going to hold my 2 swipes in case anybody gets within 5 feet of me. Any of these guys from the front door, from the side door.
Okay. At the end of your turn, then, you guys hear kind of
6 temporary hit points.
Excellent.
Also
Thank
true.
you.
You hear some creaking from above, and as
7.
you do so,
Creaking from above. What the
Sorry.
and as you do, a rain of fire comes down from above.
Yeah.
And drops down towards people. I believe Jack happens to be the only one who is in a square where the fire ends up falling.
Oh no!
As it falls downwards, make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Dice cannot decide. Dexterity saving throw 11.
Oh, very nice. You do kind of dodge some falling beams and falling stuff that comes down towards you, but you do still take a little bit of fire damage as it goes past. 3 points of fire damage as you kind of brush it aside, but you're not ending up pinned by any of the falling debris.
Okay.
Any squares that have flames in them right now are difficult to pass through.
Okay.
And you will potentially get scalded by going through them.
If anyone,
as there is still some flaming debris on the ground.
If anyone were to have seen Jack dodge the fire, he did kind of like a more elegant than you might have expected spin move. to get against the wall.
Very nice. Rayland, top of the round, it is you.
I guess we're not going up. I'm gonna kick the door here open. Actually, I'm not even gonna kick. I can't kick the door open. I'm a small halfling. I'm gonna kind of open it up.
The door behind you is actually locked. As soon as you touch it, it is locked in your hand.
I'm gonna bonus action try to pick it.
Go for it. Make a dexterity thieves tools check.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's pretty cool.
Dang.
8. It's an 8.
Unfortunately, in the stress and the pressure of the battle, you're unable to get it just yet. You can continue to work at it, but for now, the door withstands your attentions.
Could I potentially use my action for it?
If you'd like to, sure. You can continue to use your action as well to try again.
Oh, forget it. It's a 5. So,
Oh no.
Torrent, what's behind this door?
The kitchen, probably.
Probably our only way out of here.
Can't get through doors already.
Oh no.
Torrent, for her action, will look towards the people who are kind of closest to the combat, and she'll take out her little holy symbol. It looks like it looks almost like a ship, I guess, with waves underneath it. And as she takes it out and she kind of whispers towards it, Jack, Myetharia, Winry, all three of you feel focused, feel very, very attentive, and each of you three are blessed by the god of the sea that she worships.
Hashtag blessed.
She says, I'll do what I can, but we may have to fight our way out. Cathor, the male outside, just continues to watch from horseback as his men, seemingly at least, do their busy work. Winry, it's you.
I look very stuck in the middle, trying to get away from this fire and this bad guy. Both things I'm not into. I'm going to punch this guy next to me. 17 to hit.
That does hit.
Nice.
The guys coming down the stairs are definitely lighter armed than the others. They appear to be wearing some sort of leather, as opposed to the ones in front that have something like scale and a shield.
That is 7 damage.
Very nice. Kind of staggers from the hit.
And then I'm gonna kick him.
Go for it. Those long, lithe tabaxi legs.
Do those guys
Fuzzy.
on the stairs have the armband too?
Yes, they do.
20 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Nice.
Not as good. 4 damage.
Okay. Very nice. He is starting to show signs of kind of getting beat up, though. He's starting to, his arms are drooping as though he's taken a couple of punches. Bryn, make an insight check, actually.
No, okay.
Anything else on your turn, Winry?
I'll just shout, "Oh, Jack, are you okay?"
And you
Looks
get...
a little scalded, but not too bad.
I forgot. So you get 4 temporary hit points, and Rayland, did I give you yours? No.
I don't think so.
You get 7.
Hot damn.
Wow,
That is so many points.
Yeah.
pretty good.
The max I could do is 9. You said insight check.
Correct.
Where is my
Oh,
insight?
sorry, I say I am fine.
Oh no! 8.
Okay. You can see that Cathor, the guy on the horse outside, I don't know why I keep saying his name for you, but whatever.
Thanks. I wrote it down.
He's looking around. He does not always focus on you. He's definitely looking up into the sky. Bryn, it is your turn at this point.
Can I see the guy at the side door?
You can just barely make him out. Like, you know that you can see like his leg basically as the door swings out towards him. And he's just kind of peeking in right now.
And then can I tell at all if it's just him or if there's more behind him?
You can't tell for sure. You can only see the doorway.
I'm going to go to the corner and then seeing out the doorway, I would like to cast Sleep at 2nd level.
As you kind of get closer, you can see that there is also some sort of dog out there with him. It's not like a little dog. This is like hip high,
Oh, geez.
clearly a mastiff,
Yeah.
a big boy.
First encounter, and you're already rolling huge numbers of dice.
And I
again.
rolled really fucking good.
Nice.
4, 37, 41.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
41's what you got?
Uh-huh.
Very nice. Starting with the man, I'm assuming,
you
correct?
start with whoever's lowest,
Oh, yeah, it says whoever's...
whoever's the least amount of HP.
I'm going to start with the man just because he's who you were targeting, per se. The man collapses in a heap, just
Nice.
drops straight to the ground. The Mastiff next to him looks towards you first and then starts licking his face a little bit, just like lightly. Not enough to wake him, but like, what are you doing kind of thing. Dog does not seem particularly interested in you right now.
I say, guy, kind of like a loud whisper. Guys, this way.
I mean, if there's fire raging all around, you're probably
it ain't gonna be
yeah.
whispering.
whisper pretty
It's a
loudly.
loud stage whisper.
Yeah.
You start off by you're like, guys,
And no one
guys.
Yeah.
Becomes a shout. Very nice. Jack.
For the stairs, is there like a banister with rails, or is it like a solid wall that covers those stairs?
It's like a wall that has an opening at the bottom. It's meant to be shielded from the main room.
I'm gonna get there, and with my I am at. Ooh, I don't like where I paused that. I see that Winry is kind of tussling with this guy, so I'm hoping that he's a bit distracted. I would like to kind of peek around the corner, pulling the whistle to my mouth, and I would like to cast Ray of Frost, but I don't want to do damage. I want to cast it at the guy's feet and try to make him slip and fall, hoping that he'll fall down the stairs and take his other buddy out with him.
Okay.
So instead of doing damage, I'm aiming for like the bottom of his foot, more or less, hoping that he'll lose his balance.
Okay. So what I'll do for that then is make an attack roll still.
Yep.
Try to hit where you're targeting.
Real bad.
It's a stair. You can't. It's okay.
Probably not. 7.
Okay. And then I'm going to have him make a dexterity save against that DC to see if he falls on the ice patch that you left.
Okay.
So that the attack would be, the more accurate it is, the more likely it is to succeed, would be the idea.
You know what? I'm gonna. Oh, I can't inspire myself yet. I think that's a 6 level thing.
He rolls a 20 total for his dex check, though. Dex saving throw.
Well, it was worth a try.
So you shoot that bolt of ice on the ground next to him, and he steps on it, but not enough quite to lose his balance, as he is aware enough to be paying attention to his footing.
Friend Rayland, it seems as though getting out that door would be very good. You can do it. And I'm going to give you a bardic inspiration. Rayland, you are inspired, so you get to roll a d6 on your next, or add it to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw within the next 10 minutes.
You are blessed and you are inspired now.
Don't.
Oh, wait, you're not blessed. I'm sorry. You're just inspired. My bad. Jack,
nope,
you did
that's
take 1 point of fire damage for stepping through this square here on your way
Okay.
across.
So you're
It is then
I'm not.
the guys on the stairs turn next, and they will continue to try to attack Winry with swords. First one from around the corner, or not from around the corner, the main one, is an 18 to hit.
Yep.
It deals a total of 10 piercing damage.
Oof.
As you notice, he's working kind of in concert with his friend that's on the stairs in order to put you off and be able to find weaknesses in your defenses. The other guy, again, kind of attacking around the corner, is going to have disadvantage. And with it, he is unable to find any purchase with the weapon as it just continues to strike into the 2x4 that's holding up the wall there for the stairs. From outside then next, the two thugs that have figured out the fire, so to speak, they look concerned still about the whole fire with the building and everything that's going on there, but they will step in and confront Myetharia. It is up to you which one you'd like to strike.
Alrighty, I'm going to hit the one directly in front of me. Oh, that is a natural 20 with my first hit.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice. Double them dice.
That's an 8 on him.
8 damage, got
And
it.
I'm going to hit him again with my other sword.
for
And
it.
that is a 19. So that is a 26 to hit.
Definitely hits.
That one is only 5 damage.
Still 2 solid scores across his scale mail, as it seems to have put a little bit of dent into him at least. Those two make it through. You can also see over their shoulder, though, the last one looks at the fire in front of him, looks at the fire in the building. He's like, "F it, no." And he starts making his way along the road instead, off into the distance a little bit. As he walks away, just a couple of steps, the man that's on the horseback takes one step with the horse forward and slashes him with his sword instead.
Okay.
After slashing him once, he calls out to him and says, "Coward, you'll never be allowed back." But he then reins the horse back to where it originally was, and the man, with a sizable gash from a greatsword across his back, kind of scampers away down the road. The two thugs then that made it to you, Myetharia, are both going to raise up longswords along with their shields. They're kind of sword and board members here, and will both try to challenge you into combat. As they make strikes, 11 and 13 to hit.
Either of them hit.
Nice.
Two quick dodges, left, right, each way, as the two swords swing past and kind of bite into the bar behind you instead. Neither of which found any purchase. The last of those is already asleep, so you don't have to worry about the guy that's snoring on the side. And so that is their turns. Myetharia, it's you.
Excellent. I'm going
Those are
to
fun, huh?
make another 2 hits on, well, 1 for now, on the man directly in front of me. That is 18 to hit.
18 does hit.
Next. That is a 5 plus 3, so 8 damage on him.
Nice. He's starting to show
Okay.
some signs of damage in his armor.
He's not down yet. I will take another sweep at him. And that's a natural 20.
Myetharia showing combat prowess.
Oh yes, and she's
immediately.
pretty determined with each of her sweeps as well. That is a 4 plus 3, so 7 damage on him. And oh wait, I forgot to double. 8 plus 3, so that is 11 damage.
Very nice. With that, you leave a sizable slash through kind of the midsection of his armor, and you can definitely see a significant amount of blood starting to come through.
I think that is all for now. Yes.
How
All right,
many
perfect.
temporary hit points did I give you?
7.
Myetharia? Okay, take 8 instead.
Instead, I won't question.
All right, perfect. Rayland, it is you next.
Gosh, I think Bryn's got a way out. Am I the only one who heard Bryn?
You're
by
the only one
way?
that's responded so far, at least.
So moving across the bar, I'm going to sheath my rapier and bonus action draw my
For it.
crossbow and fire at this guy. Since I guess is he obstructed
No.
by the fire at
Nope,
all?
you can
No,
see
I
through the fire. It's just on the ground.
Yeah.
The other guy would be obstructed, so hitting the first one is probably the right choice.
It's a 7 to hit.
He sees you, despite your small stature, kind of jumping through, and he's prepared for it as the bolt comes shooting through, and he catches it on his shield.
A good D6 might change that.
No, I rolled it. I rolled a 2. I'm not going to risk it on that.
Perfect. All set then, Rayland?
Yeah.
Jack, are you hurt at all?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure before I did anything. Torrent is going to... But she's kind of stymied by all the bodies right now, a little bit. She's going to move to the side over here and begin to try to help Myetharia kind of cut through to be able to get people past. She does take a little bit of damage from the fire, but not too much as she steps through it. And then she does have on her hip like a one-handed axe that she will swing at these guys. 21 to hit. That will hit for her. She'll deal 4 points of damage as continues to cut into him. He looks like nearly falling over at this point, that first guy. He looks really rough, but unfortunately he is still standing. Winry, it is your turn.
Punch the same guy I did before. D4 to hit.
24 definitely hits.
5 damage.
He still stands. He's looking quite woozy though.
And then I will try to kick him.
That's it.
17 to hit. 4
Oh, you got
damage.
two people who are just like stiff winds will knock him down at this point.
I'm just gonna stay. Feel like he's gonna run. Should we go?
He will take a
On my
swipe
way
at you
out?
on your way past. Yes. Only the one that has full view of you, though. I'm not going to take an opportunity attack from around the corner with that. He does make a... Ooh, geez. He does make a swing. That's a 23 to hit.
Ooh, yep. Oh no.
Short sword digs into your back as you try to turn to leave. Deals 9 points of piercing damage as you do so.
I jump on the bar. 25.
You run across the room to the other side, taking a bite in the back as you do so. Bryn, I think it is you.
Winry, switch your temporary hit points to 7 instead of 4.
I think she probably took those
I'm gonna
temporary
shoot
hit
it.
points already because she took a stab.
I did.
Yep, you get whatever
Oh,
the new
so-
number is.
Do
Yeah,
I
so you
have
have
7 now? Okay.
I'm doing guiding bolt at the guy closest to me.
Before it.
17?
17, the guy closest. Yes, that will hit.
17 damage.
Ooh, wow.
I got 2 6s.
Very nice.
And it's radiant damage, and then the next person that hits him has advantage.
Next person to attack that target, the one on the furthest right,
Yeah.
will have advantage. Very nice. Anything else you'd like to do, Bryn?
No.
Okay. Jack, it's you.
Pull the whistle up to my mouth. Seeing that Winry took off, I'm going to look at the guy that's in front of Myetharia. And I am going to blow the whistle a couple quick bursts, like beep, 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 beep. And then I'm going to say, I suggest you attack the guy next to you. He said something unkind about you. So I'm casting suggestion. He has to roll a wisdom saving throw, DC 13.
That's a 11.
So he then must do what my suggestion was, and he gets to attack his buddy with advantage.
Yep, with
And then
advantage.
I say, Myetharia, Torrent, run! And I'm going to make a break for it.
Very nice. Okay.
And I hop up on the bar and jump around until I'm standing next to
He
Rayland.
turns towards his friend. He gets this awful look on his face as he raises the sword and he swings it at his friend. His friend was caught unaware by this action, but is able to get the shield up just in time to take the blow on the shield. Unfortunately, not able to find purchase on this particular attack.
Should have given him bardic inspiration.
But yeah, Jack joins the majority of the other people now on the other side of the tavern. Anything else, Jack?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Switch yours to 7, baby.
The inn is it's going up quite aggressively in flames on that side. It's mostly stuck to this one quadrant, this one quarter of the inn here. But it is definitely getting fiery in that area. The two guys will kind of move around. They will begin to encircle Myetharia as best they can, and they do use the short sword, and you do notice that they are kind of using them almost like clubs as opposed to stabbing too hard. They definitely are trying not to fully kill if they can avoid it, but he does attack you from behind. He doesn't hit you, however, Myetharia, as the first strike goes quite wild. The other one is going to pull out a one-handed small little crossbow and will attempt to take a shot across the room towards Jack as he's trying to run away. So having seen you do something with your whistle that appeared to have magical effects, he's going to focus towards you. He rolls a 21 to hit with that.
Yeah, that hits.
The bolt flies across the room, strikes true, but only deals 5 points of piercing damage. Kind of a light blow, a glancing blow. Nothing too serious. Thugs continue to strike. Myetharia, one of them is a 19 to hit. The other one will miss.
Yes, the 19 hits.
The one strike that does land will deal 7 points of slashing damage as it lands. It is then your turn.
The guy who just came around the corner, the thug kind of behind me, how's he looking?
Very, very hurt. He looks like he's partially looking towards the door and partially looking towards you.
Okay, I'm going to make one attack on him.
Go for it.
13 to hit.
Did you D4?
Oh, thank you. 15 to hit.
That does hit. He thought he was going to dodge you there for a second, but the last moment, it just perfectly lands into place.
Fooled ya. That is a 2 plus 3, so 5.
First man drops in the end
Nice.
as
Very
he
nice.
falls before your sword.
And I'm going to yell to Torrent, quick, out the side door. And I'm going to make an attack on the guy who is not suggested, who does not have suggestion on him, as I am making a run for it.
Yep.
12 to hit?
12 does not hit, unfortunately, as this one does strike across the shield as you try to take off. The one
Move right behind them on their way out.
that is not suggested
Yes.
or suggestioned
Yes.
will take a swipe at you. It is a 16 to hit.
That hits.
Deals 4 points of damage, slashing, as you skip away from them. Rayland,
I don't know how many temporary hit points you have left, but you have 6 now.
Oh, I was going to say I have 0, but thank you. I am back up to full again.
Rayland, it's you.
So 1, 2, clear my vision.
Go for it.
I'm going to take an attack at this guy.
from under the table.
Crossbow. Actually, I take the crossbow and I put it, kind of lean it up
Right
onto the
across the
table.
table?
Yeah, kind of use it like as something to level
Very
my
nice.
shot. And it's 24.
That definitely hits.
11.
Oof, 2 solid hits onto
11
that guy.
damage.
He is looking quite damaged at this point.
Sneak attack? He's being harried by someone who seems to
I
be
think
working with us.
Oh, does that work, Justin? If he's next
So
to him?
according to the rules, I would say no technically, but I will allow it. He
I
isn't
like it.
actually your
Okay.
ally.
Oh, Justin. 12 extra damage.
Very nice. Between the guiding bolt and this perfectly placed crossbow bolt, the two kind of collide together perfectly, drop the man where he stands.
If you can imagine, he kind of like steadies the crossbow across the table, kind of lines up and fires. I rolled max damage on that whole.
Oh, very
Nice.
nice.
A real, a non-orthodox critical hit.
Yeah. That is my turn.
Beautiful. They're starting.
What were your temper hit points at? Did you take any damage?
No, I haven't taken any damage at all.
Okay. You're fine then.
I just want to say really quick, as you lined up the crossbow shot and fired, I go, no, wait!
Torrent, for her action, will thump this guy in the back of the head with kind of the broadside of the axe. He falls in a heap at her feet, and then she will take the opportunity to move across to your side of the room as well.
Give her 6 temper hit points.
Winry, at this point, it is you, and they're starting to look concerned. And as I said, that last kind of more sneaky guy that was towards the stairs was starting to look more towards the door than towards your group at this point in time.
Let me see if I can.
And actually, you
even
hear from
reach him.
outside, the male's voice that you'd heard previously will shout out, "Anyone still up? To me! We retreat!"
Well, I will shoot a ray of frost at him.
Go for it.
8 to hit.
8 does not hit.
Okay, then I'm going to.
Aren't you blessed?
Yes,
Blessed.
I am. +1.
9 does not hit.
No.
Can't leave, but I'm going to leave.
Sure. Yep, you hop out the door and into the alley. As you make a break for it into the alley, you can see that further to the north, in this case, or up on the map, you can see some sort of a makeshift wall almost at the back of the alley. Out the front leads back, as you well know, to the main street where you had come in from initially.
Don't want to go that way. Yeah, so I'll go the other way.
You can step over the sleeping man as much as you wish, and without the sleeping man, the mastiff is mostly ignoring you.
It's a doggy, though.
Give him screeches.
That's him.
Either way, I think at this point in time, as long as no one is going to actively go after the last guy that's
Bryn
there,
is not.
at that point in time, the rest of you can all make your escape out that side door, and under kind of a watchful gaze almost of this man on horseback, you can make your escape out into the city streets away from this place.
Can I snatch the armband off the sleeping guy?
You can, sure, you can. Do you have anything to cut?
Oh,
My claw?
I'll see her trying to do that, and I'll just you know what? I'll use
I do
my
not.
bonus action
I have no way to cut anything.
I'll use my bonus action to draw my rapier, and I'll cut it for her.
Sure. Okay. Easy enough. You're able to slice off one of the armbands. You can take it with you on your way out.
So the fire at the front door would have dissipated by now, because they've all walked through it. Did I get a good look at the guy on the horse, like to know what he looks like as I ran past?
Each of you could have seen him from kind of what you see there. He is a male, dark hair, stern look, riding on horseback in armor.
Human?
Human. Yeah, each of you could have seen him. So yeah, you guys can make your way out at this point in time. And you do hear a little bit of conversation from that man on horseback as you kind of go your different ways to some extent. You can hear one of the men coming out talking about how leave like hundreds of gold coins, kind of in a grumbly, mumbly kind of voice. And Cathor says, "Ignore it. There's bigger things afoot," as he rides off down the street on his horse. At that, I think we will call that the end of the session for tonight.
yeah.
Whew.